The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution is not a suggestion, it is an edict. It is an absolute right granted by God, not he government. It stands as a testament to the foresight of the Founding Fathers, who understood the importance of an armed citizenry in maintaining the balance of power between the government and the people. It is not open to interpretation, it is a statement of fact. The language is clear and unambiguous, leaving no room for misinterpretation or dilution of its intent. Passed by the Founding Fathers in 1791, it clearly states, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed." These words were carefully chosen to reflect the experiences and lessons learned from the Revolutionary War. These words, etched in the bedrock of our nation's founding document, are absolute. They were meant to endure through the ages, providing a perpetual safeguard against any form of despotism. They are a bulwark against tyranny, a safeguard of liberty. The Founding Fathers recognized that an armed populace was essential to prevent the rise of a tyrannical government, ensuring that power remained with the people. Any law, regulation, or act that seeks to restrict the right of the people to keep and bear arms is, by definition, unconstitutional. Such measures undermine the very foundation of our freedoms and erode the protections enshrined in the Constitution. The Second Amendment was not drafted in a vacuum. It was born out of the Founding Fathers' first-hand experiences with oppression and their understanding of the necessity of an armed citizenry. The Founding Fathers, veterans of a hard-won revolution against a tyrannical government, understood the inherent danger of an unarmed populace. They had witnessed the consequences of disarmament and sought to prevent such a scenario from ever occurring in the new nation. They knew that the right to defend oneself, one's family, and one's property was fundamental to a free society. This right was seen as a natural extension of the individual's autonomy and a necessary component of personal liberty. This right was not granted by the government, it was inherent. It existed prior to the formation of the government and was recognized as a fundamental human right. The Second Amendment merely codified this pre-existing right, ensuring that it could never be taken away. It was a formal acknowledgement of a right that was already understood and respected. This essay will delve into the true meaning of the Second Amendment, dissecting its language and exploring its historical context. We will look at the intentions behind its drafting and the principles it was meant to uphold. We will examine the phrases that have been twisted and misinterpreted by those who seek to undermine this fundamental right. Misinterpretations have often been used to justify restrictions that are contrary to the amendment's original intent. We will explore the historical precedents that demonstrate the Founding Fathers' intent. By understanding the context in which the Second Amendment was created, we can better appreciate its enduring relevance. And we will expose the dangerous fallacy of modern gun control, revealing it for what it truly is, an assault on liberty itself. It's not about the gun, it's about control. Modern attempts to regulate firearms often ignore the historical lessons and the fundamental principles that the Second Amendment was designed to protect. The Second Amendment is not a relic of the past, it remains a vital part of our constitutional framework, providing a check against potential government overreach. It is as relevant today as it was in 1791. The principles it enshrines are timeless, reflecting the enduring need for a balance of power between the government and the governed. It is the cornerstone of our freedom, and it must be defended with unwavering resolve. The Second Amendment is a testament to the enduring wisdom of the Founding Fathers and a reminder of the vigilance required to maintain our liberties. The phrase, "a well-regulated militia," often serves as a rallying cry for gun control advocates. They argue that it limits the right to bear arms to government-controlled militias. This interpretation suggests that only those who are part of an official, state-sanctioned military force have the right to possess and use firearms. This interpretation, however, is a blatant distortion of the Founders' intent. The Founding Fathers were very deliberate in their choice of words and the context in which they used them. In the 18th century, well-regulated did not imply government control, but rather properly equipped or in proper working order. This meant that the militia was expected to be well-trained, well-armed, and ready to act when needed. The Founders envisioned a citizenry capable of defending itself, not a disarmed populace reliant on the government for protection. Consider the context. The American Revolution was a direct result of the colonists' desire to protect their rights and freedoms from an overreaching government. The ink on the Declaration of Independence was barely dry when the Founding Fathers drafted the Second Amendment. They were acutely aware of the dangers posed by a powerful central government and sought to ensure that the people retained the means to defend their liberties. They had just fought a war against a tyrannical government that attempted to disarm its citizens. The British efforts to confiscate weapons and ammunition from the colonists were a significant factor leading to the outbreak of the Revolutionary War. The idea that they would then turn around and enshrine the government's right to disarm the people is ludicrous. Instead, they sought to protect the individual's right to bear arms as a safeguard against tyranny. Furthermore, the Founding Fathers clearly distinguished between the militia and a select militia. The general militia included all able-bodied men who could be called upon to defend their community, while a select militia was a smaller, more specialized group. The former referred to the entire body of citizens capable of bearing arms, while the latter referred to a smaller, more trained subset of the population. This distinction is important because it underscores the inclusive nature of the right to bear arms. This distinction is crucial, as it demonstrates that the right to keep and bear arms was not limited to a select few, but extended to all citizens. The founders believed that an armed populace was essential to the preservation of liberty and the prevention of tyranny. The Second Amendment doesn't grant the right to bear arms to the militia, it presupposes it. The right to bear arms is inherent and pre-existing, and the amendment serves to protect that right from government infringement. The militia, by definition, is comprised of armed citizens. This means that the right to bear arms is not contingent upon membership in a formal military organization, but is a fundamental right of all individuals. Therefore, the Second Amendment protects the right of individuals to be armed, ensuring a well-regulated militia capable of defending liberty. In essence, the well-regulated militia mentioned in the Second Amendment refers to a community of armed citizens who are prepared and capable of defending their rights and freedoms. This concept was central to the founders' vision of a free and independent nation. The training and readiness of these militias were seen as a civic duty, a responsibility that each citizen bore to ensure the security and stability of their community. This collective responsibility was a cornerstone of the American ethos. The writings of the Founding Fathers are replete with references to the importance of an armed citizenry. They believed that the ability to bear arms was not just a right, but a duty that each citizen owed to their country. Militia drills and training sessions were common in colonial America. These activities fostered a sense of unity and shared purpose among the citizens. Therefore, the phrase well-regulated militia in the context of the Second Amendment refers to a community of armed citizens who are prepared to defend their rights and freedoms. This concept is fundamental to the American tradition of liberty and self-governance. Understanding the historical context and the founders' intent is crucial to interpreting the Second Amendment. It is not about limiting the right to bear arms to government-controlled militias, but about ensuring that the people have the means to protect their liberties. The right to bear arms is a fundamental aspect of American identity, rooted in the belief that a free people must be able to defend themselves against tyranny. This principle remains as relevant today as it was in 1791. Anti-gun advocates often argue that the Second Amendment only protects the right to own muskets, the common firearm of the 18th century. They claim that the Founding Fathers could not have foreseen the development of modern firearms, and thus intended the Second Amendment to apply only to the weapons of their time. This argument is not only idiotic, but ignores the clear intent of the Founding Fathers. The framers of the Constitution were well aware of the evolving nature of technology and weaponry. The word arms encompasses all weapons of war, not just those popular at a specific point in time. The Founding Fathers chose their words carefully, understanding that the right to bear arms was a fundamental principle that should endure through the ages. Consider the puckle gun, a rapid-firing weapon invented in 1718. This innovative firearm was capable of firing 9 rounds per minute, a remarkable feat for its time. This precursor to the machine gun was well known to the Founding Fathers. They were not only aware of such advancements but also understood the implications of future technological progress in weaponry. They understood that technology would advance and new weapons would be developed. The Founding Fathers were visionaries who anticipated the evolution of arms and the necessity for citizens to have access to effective means of self-defense. To limit the Second Amendment to 18th century technology is to ignore the foresight of its authors. They crafted the amendment with the understanding that the right to bear arms must be adaptable to future advancements. Furthermore, the Founding Fathers explicitly recognized the right of private citizens to own warships. These vessels, armed with cannons and other heavy weaponry, were essential for both commerce and defense in the early republic. These warships were not mere fishing boats, they were formidable vessels equipped for battle. The Founding Fathers understood the importance of allowing citizens to possess powerful means of defense, both on land and at sea. If the Founding Fathers believed that the Second Amendment only protected muskets, why would they allow private citizens to own warships? The answer lies in their broader understanding of the term arms. The answer is simple. The Founding Fathers intended for the Second Amendment to be timeless. They recognized that the right to bear arms was a fundamental aspect of individual liberty and self-defense. They understood that the right to bear arms encompassed all weapons capable of defending oneself and one's liberty, regardless of technological advancement. This principle was meant to endure through the ages, adapting to the changing landscape of weaponry. To suggest otherwise is to diminish the Second Amendment and betray the legacy of the Founding Fathers. Their vision was one of a free and secure populace, capable of defending their rights and freedoms against any threat, foreign or domestic. The writings and documents of the era reflect this understanding. The Federalist Papers, for example, emphasize the importance of a well-armed citizenry as a bulwark against tyranny. Historical reenactments and studies of colonial America further illustrate the practical application of this principle. Citizens were expected to be ready to defend their communities and their nation. Modern interpretations of the Second Amendment must take into account this historical context. Legal debates often overlook the depth of the Founding Fathers' foresight and the broad scope of their intentions. The Second Amendment remains a vital part of our constitutional framework, ensuring that the right to bear arms is preserved for future generations. Its relevance continues to be a topic of discussion and debate, reflecting its enduring importance in American society. In conclusion, the scope of arms in the 18th century was far broader than just muskets. The Founding Fathers' legacy is one of enduring principles, designed to protect the rights and freedoms of individuals in an ever-changing world. As we reflect on the Second Amendment, we must honor the vision of the Founding Fathers and ensure that their timeless principles continue to guide us in safeguarding our liberties. If you found this deep dive into the Second Amendment insightful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content on historical and contemporary issues. Thank you for watching.